Hi, it's Rob from the Bobsphere, and it's time for a monthly wrap up. Okay, so June. Hmm. It was a reading month of extremes, so there was stuff I really loved, and there was stuff I hated. Some in between, but it was mostly full of extremes. So, I think I'll go to the least liked. There were three great books, I can say that. Probably the best I've ever written. Read. Okay, so let's start with this one though, because I like to get it out of the way. I'm a subscriber to this. It's The Happy Reader. It's a very good literary magazine. So the first half is about a musician or an artist or playwright or an actor, and they talk about the books they like. Then the second half all focuses on a featured book. In this case, it was Madonna in a fur coat. That was the back for the second half. First half is the musician Moses Sumney, who does like reading quite a bit. It's very good. This, I think, is my last issue. I subscribed 4 years ago, but the publishing rate is very slow with these guys. Sometimes you get two a year, sometimes one. Then there was a delay where we received nothing for a year. So, no, but it's worth subscribing. You'll find it. So that's The Happy Reader. Okay, now let's get on. Even though that is a book, let's go with our traditional definition of a book. So let's take away the turkey of the lot. Here we go. Okay. This is a 0 out of 10. It's terrible. It's awful. There's a video about it. I'm not going to go into it again. I got too angry. Okay? Avoid. I'm not the type to say that, but avoid that. Okay, the rest are. Some are disappointing. This one is disappointing. Again, there's a video on it. I'm not going to go into it. Didn't impress me that much. Okay. Now, generally, I don't like memoirs, but I do like rock memoirs, especially ones of label heads. So this is a book I bought a long time ago, maybe 3-4 years ago. It was a bargain, maybe €2. So I said I'll go take a look at it. I do like Creation. I grew up with Oasis, but they've done others. Let's say like Teenage Fan Club. I think I'm jumping a bit. Okay, let's start again. Okay, so this is the biography of a label head called Alan McGee. He was the head of a label called Creation. Then he moved on to some others when he dissolved it in 2000. But they're most famous for Oasis, we all know that. Primal Scream, the first Jesus and Mary Chain singles were on it. There were others. Then there was Swerve Driver, lots of little indie bands and things like that. Super Furry Animals. I grew up with some Creation bands. If you were in the Britpop era, you definitely came across Primal Scream, Oasis, and Super Furry Animals. There were more. There was Teenage Fan Club. Anyway, House of Love. So Alan McGee is telling a story about how he set up the label and then all the bust ups, and the misdemeanors. It's funny. It's not amazing. It's very workmanlike, work person like. It's good, but it won't blow your mind or anything. If you're a fan of Creation, do read this. There's a better one by David Cavanagh. It's a big, huge tome. It's about 700 pages. That's the one worth reading. It's just a kind of side project. I didn't learn anything new. Okay, what else should we choose? Okay, because the rest. Okay, we'll choose this one. I reread The Handmaid's Tale, as followers of my blog and videos know. I am trying to read all of Margaret Atwood's 17 novels. So I did jump a little ahead because I read the Testaments. But that's because it's the sequel of The Handmaid's Tale. The Handmaid's Tale is great. No need to go into it. We all know what it is. You've seen probably a million booktube videos about it. Okay, coming up. Because I want to save the best three for last. Okay. Or best four, actually. This one is good. This one took me by surprise. One is by P. Paltry Press, which are really good. They publish fantastic Jamaican literature. They did The Mermaid of Black Conch, and I read a short story collection by them. So far, I've been impressed. This is very good. This is out July 1st. It's about the oil rush that happened in 1920s Trinidad. There's this farmer, he's illiterate, and he accidentally discovers that he has a ton of oil on his land, and this leads into a chase. All these greedy businessmen and drillers and people from abroad, and then there comes the disease and things that happen to these workers. It is based on a true story, but fictionalized. That makes sense. I really liked it. It's good. It's good. Now, I said The Testaments. Oh, you got my hairy arm. The Testaments was a bad female feminist dystopia. Here's a good feminist dystopia. The Hierarchies by Ross Anderson. It's about the debut novel, and it's very impressive. It's about this sex robot who breaks free from being one, and then she actually falls in love. Now, if a robot falls in love, does that mean that the robot's human? That questions that. And it also questions the entertainment industry, male gaze. It's an onion of a book. Just peel off layer after layer after layer. Excellent. From the ever consistent Dead Ink books. Now it's a bit, I try to make these summaries as quick as possible so you don't get bored with me going into long descriptions. Okay, next. There's a video about this. I'm not going to go into it again. I think this is the future of literature. That's the cat. The future of literature. Oh, and you've got my shirt hanging in the background. It's drying. Oh well. This is the future of literature. Again, there's a separate video about it. I'll link it down there in the box. Okay. Every month I read a book by a local author. This is Lara Kaleya's Caserto Kulimkin. This won, I think, the European Award for Best Novel, or Best Book. It's a series of short stories, all based on destruction and construction, which is happening in our island. It's okay, but some stories are better than others. There's a very good one about a bus driver who has a relationship, a platonic one, with an old lady. That's brilliant. The rest are good. But again, quality varies, as in with every short story collection. Okay, now we're going to the gems. Again, here's another video I did about this. I'm not going to go into it. It's just Claire Fuller is an expert in creating a cozy book. This is no different. It's about twins who lose their mother, and they discover secrets about her. That's all I'm going to say. You can check out that video. Okay, now this is a book about books, and I can't resist that. I've been wanting this for ages. This is by Michiko Kakutani. She is a critic. Well, she was one. She retired a few years ago. And this is her 100, loosely, because there's more, of her favorite books. And it's quite a nice package. There's a lot of illustrations. There's a ton of nonfiction in here. So if you want good nonfiction, this is a one to look at, as I barely read it. I found it quite enlightening. The fiction books are good. I learned about a couple of new ones. Yes, I bought as well. Yeah, see, talking to me about my sins. If you like these kinds of listy type of books, and obviously it's well written because it is Michiko Kakutani, do invest in this. You can't go wrong. Now we're going to the top 3. Now these are all 10 out of 10 books. They're all fantastic. So there's no order here. I'm just plucking them off the top. I don't know if I spoke about this in the last wrap up, so I won't say too much, but it is an amazing book. It is perfect. It broke my heart. It's about the relationship between a grandmother and a deaf girl. And the only way they communicate is through nature. For example, they write about trees. They have a scrapbook. It's absolutely beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Did I? I mean, I'm at a loss for words. It took my heartstrings to just rip them out like that. This is a very, very good book. So it's What Willow Says by Lynn Buckle. Get it as soon as possible. It's by Epoch Press, who are on a roll at the moment. They've been publishing a lot of books I like. Okay, this one I wrote about. It is a perfect novel. I think it's brilliant the way it's plotted. Oh, so good, so good. This is Yagazi Transcendent Kingdom. It's about a person whose brother dies of a heroin overdose, and she traces that, which actually is the roots for her career, and actually forms the roots of her whole life. And she goes into that in a non-chronological order. It's very cleverly written. It was a joy to read. And let's say the book of the month is Sam Mills' The Fragments of My Father. Yes, it's a memoir. I barely read memoirs because I don't like them. I find them boring. This, on the other hand, is the exception, and it is a stunner. Stunner. More people have to read this. Okay, this is about the author's father who was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and hence the fragments, because he's fragmented. And also the book is like fragments as well. It's a lot of memories, and then they're all pieced together. It's not confusing. A picture will come out as soon as you read the first page. And then see what happened is then the author, through this sickness, through her father's diagnosis, she became a carer. Then she talks about different carers in history, like Leonard Woolf and F. Scott Fitzgerald, or the extremes, like one very good one and one very bad one. And Sam Mills wants to see where she fits in that spectrum. Then her mother becomes sick as well, and then she starts discovering things about her, some secrets. It's just so good. It's so good, and you get her life as well. It's a partial autobiography as well, from her love of books to adulthood. There's some anecdotes. There's one really great scene where she has lunch with Will Self, because she wrote a book about him, a novel called The Quiddity of Will Self. It's a really good one. Highly, highly, highly recommended. Okay, that is my June wrap up. Did you read any of these books? What did you think about them? Is there any you liked? Did you disagree with me? The usual, etc., etc. Don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, there's a blog post of all these books. That will go out tomorrow though, because I'll be busy. I've got work. Because usually I do this on the weekend. But since it's a public holiday here in Malta, I said I might as well take advantage of it. Okay, so tomorrow there'll be the blog post, and I will link that. And I'll also link my video where I talk about the Women's Prize for Fiction. So that should be it. See you next time.